Story 1, Glid Pipe, Overtime.
In the office basement at night, a concrete corridor hummed with the low, steady drone of servers as Lena Shah, a 28-year-old junior sysadmin with a messenger bag and a thermos, swiped into the data floor for an after-hours maintenance window. She paused at a laminated list on the wall that read, Badge, Lock, Log, Call Security for any irregularities, then checked her phone's work order, Patch Install, 11:30 p.m. to 1:0 a.m. The fluorescent lights flickered once as the motion sensor reawakened, washing pale light over a row of silent printers and a door marked MDF authorized only. She lifted her phone to her mouth and whispered, "Starting the patch now. Shouldn't take long." Her voicemail pinged back, the only reply. Everyone else was long gone. From the ceiling vents came the faint, maddening tap-tap of condensation, mechanical and steady as a metronome, like the building itself was counting. A disembodied squawk crackled from the basement intercom, and Rajiv from security asked if it was her down there. She answered yes, joking about clocking in for punishment, and he reminded her to holler if she needed an escort up. She knelt at the patch cable tray, fingers moving with practiced efficiency as the servers exhaled their heat. The air dry, recycled, faintly metallic. Then, without her command, a laser printer on a side table roused itself, rollers whispering alive, spooling a single page of internal emails she didn't recognize. Lena muttered to herself, "No Q job, not from me." Checking the panel, she saw no ID assigned, no job name, only logged as quick print upstairs. She pocketed the strange page and stepped into the stairwell, the lights breathing on a split-second delay, each bulb warming in sequence as her presence moved. Her footsteps echoed too big for the space, making her feel observed by the architecture. On the second-floor hallway, office doors with opaque glass smudged movements into ghost shapes while exit signs glowed like stubborn embers. She tapped her badge on a side door denied, muttering that the door was for facilities only. She noticed a new push notification. Badge access, 11:42 p.m., basement L, Shah. Beneath it another line she didn't like. Badge access, 11:41 p.m., lobby L, Shah. Her eyes darted to the dome camera's red eye, aware of her own outline in the convex bubble. Rajiv's voice asked if she doubled in because he got 2 hits on her card, basement and lobby. She firmly answered that she hadn't badged the lobby. A distant door seal sighed, rubber gasket breaking contact, followed by the faint wheeze of an elevator beginning to move. In the kitchenette, she flipped a switch, refrigerator humming awake and casting a strip of light. Holding the printed page closer, she realized it was fragments of an email chain about the building's security upgrade, a test of cloned badge vulnerabilities. She muttered the word cloned, drumming the edge of the paper against the counter, staring at her badge like it was a double-sided coin. Then her phone vibrated with a chilling message. Unknown. You? Alone? Followed by a grainy camera still of her silhouette in the hallway seconds ago. She didn't reply. Heart pounding. She killed the kitchenette light and stepped into the dim hall where the exit sign's red glow stained the carpet. As she moved through the third-floor corridor, motion-activated lights bloomed in sequence like a wave of attention rolling with her. Halfway down, she saw a door marked Conference B propped open. Inside were a bowl of mints, a chair slightly off-axis, and a cable threaded under the table to a blinking LED. She crouched and lifted the cloth drape, revealing a compact battery pack, a cellular hotspot, and a coiled cable new, not workplace issued. Lowering the cloth carefully, she backed away. Her intercom app popped up. Security broadcast. Please remain at your current location. Assistance en route. But another message overlaid it. Keep moving. She froze, staring at the conflicting commands, then at the dome camera, unsure who was speaking. She chose the stairs because elevators were for people who trusted cables. On the landing, she noticed a dark smudge on the wall, grease at shoulder height, like someone steadying themselves there recently. Her phone chirped again. Elevator, arrived 3rd. She hadn't called it. Peeking through the glass slit, she saw the elevator doors peel open, empty car, mirror bright. The doors stopped half closed and reversed, as if an unseen hand had interrupted the sensor. She pressed her stair badge and kept climbing, pulse racing. On the 5th floor hub, she entered an open plan of low cubicles under after-hours dimness. Scanning for hiding places, she tried the intercom. "Rajiv, if that's you, say a code word from the lobby plaque." Silence, then the faint scrape of a shoe on carpet. "Too close." She whispered, "Okay, we're doing this," palmed a metal stapler, and slid between cubicles. A faint cough of colder air from a vent made her freeze. Across the way, she saw her own badge ID flash on the glass of a meeting room as if it had just unlocked. Crawling low, she watched dust motes glow in the light of a forgotten monitor. The meeting room door eased wider, an inch, then another. She whispered, "Walk away." The intercom crackled, and an unknown voice replied, "You're going to slip." Lena hurled the stapler, buying 2 seconds, and broke it through the cubicles. She didn't head to the stairwell, but instead into the fire door leading to the narrow electrical chase. Bracing hands and feet on the opposite walls, she climbed quietly, avoiding the ground, her own breath bouncing back hot and loud. Below, she heard a scuff, then a pause, then the unmistakable sound of someone sniffing the air like a predator. Trembling, she climbed slower, resisting the urge to rush. On the 7th floor server annex, she spilled out, breathing hard. She saw the elevator machine room panel and keyed in the facilities code she still remembered. "If you're in the car, you're in my house now," she muttered, selecting inspection mode and isolating one car between floors. Then her phone buzzed. Lobby camera offline. Another, basement camera offline. Finally, "You're still in here." She pressed stop on the suspected elevator, locking it in the shaft mid-journey like a throat squeezed shut. A heavy thud answered from the wall, followed by shrieks of metal as something struck inside the shaft. Fear twisted into grim satisfaction as she backed away with a grin she didn't recognize. Into the intercom, she commanded Rajiv to call police and not open any door without a code phrase. When asked, she said the phrase, "Badge, lock, log." But Lena didn't stay put. She went back through the chase, down past the sleeping floors, feeling the building like a living creature with nerves not her own. In the basement, the printer had spat out more pages, scattered like cards. One showed a still of a maintenance door outside the lobby, propped with a folded paper cup. She thought of fingerprints and tiny traces people leave where they think no one looks. She packed her bag and killed the work order. Patches could wait until after survival. The stairwell to the alley smelled of wet cardboard. She eased the door open to cool city air, car hiss, and sirens. As she pulled the door closed, she noticed a curved sliver of tape on the inside jamb, meant to stop the latch from engaging. She tore it off and shut the door with a final, beautiful click that sounded like survival. Her phone buzzed one last time, with a live thumbnail from the trapped elevator's camera feed. In the dark box, a small circle of light showed where floor met door. The image jittered as something moved toward the seam, patient, calculating, then stopped as if it knew the lens was an eye and refused to be seen twice. Sirens grew louder. Lena walked fast, shoulders squared, streetlight shadows keeping pace, printer pages folded in her pocket like proof she wasn't imagining it. She didn't look back, but the building did, its windows reflecting her until she vanished from the frame. Nadia, 33, a software tester, stacks moving boxes labeled kitchen and books while a floor fan pushes warm air past the tape gun's sticky chatter. Her new doorbell camera shows a fisheye view of the narrow hall. The lens stares at a door directly opposite with an old brass peephole dead center. She reviews a motion alert timestamp 3:18 a.m., where the hall is empty but for a faint ripple of shadow sliding under the opposing door. A spill of darker black like someone moved close, then away. Her phone pings. Her friend Layla texts, "You packed the important stuff?" Nadia types
You
back.
packed the important stuff?
Passports, meds, external drives, laptop, sentimental postcards, the dumb lucky coin. She pockets the coin, a smooth worn disc, and gets to work folding her life into squares. From inside the wall, a thin scratchy noise rises, conversational in its persistence, like someone dragging string over metal. Later in the kitchen, Nadia unscrews the vent cover above the stove, sets the oily grate on a towel, and shines her phone flashlight into the duct. Dust fur, lost screws, a fleck of plastic, and snagged on a seam, a scrap of beige fabric like a torn bandage. She coughs, sneezes, laughs once at herself, of course. The vent is full of old building skin. A new motion alert at 3:37 p.m. shows a figure dart past the lens, too close to identify, shoulder to the wall, head down, timing their steps to the rumble of the elevator. Nadia speaks into the intercom app. "You okay out there?" Silence follows, then the distant slam of the stairwell door, as if someone rejected the elevator at the last second. In the building super's office, the super, mid-50s, paunch straining against his polo, scrolls through camera feeds with one meaty finger. "Look, nothing. People come and go. This is a city." Nadia presses. "Somebody's close to my door at odd hours. The hall camera is picking it up." The super shrugs. "You're moving out, yeah? People watch. People are nosy." She asks, "Then why the scratching in the walls?" He replies, "Pipes, rats, whatever. Don't leave food out." He smiles like he is tired of being paid to hear the same complaint. At night, Nadia builds a fortress out of boxes and calls Lila, hands-free, speaker up, voice filling the space. Layla says, "Tell me a not ghost story." Nadia replies, "A not ghost story. Somebody with a key that used to fit keeps trying it and stops when they hear me move. Because losing access doesn't mean losing interest." Layla answers, "That's terrible." Nadia says, "It's realistic." She tapes the seam under the door to strike the oldest tripwire there is, pale masking tape that will curl if the door is open from the other side. The scratching returns, a little bolder, like it has found the correct rhythm of her attention. She goes still, holds breath, feels her own blood like static in her ears. The fans hum, fattening into a blanket of sound she can hide under. She creeps to the peephole across the hall. No, that's the wrong phrase. She crosses and presses her eye to her own brass circle of warped glass. The corridor distorts fisheye distances, making the far end both nearer and more unreachable, a cheap optical illusion that has protected this hallway for decades. Through the fisheye, the opposite peephole stares back, flat and blind. Nadia wonders whether a person can learn to look without being seen, whether they can learn to become a hole instead of a face. Later that night, a metallic tick at the lock, then another. Nadia whispers, "Layla."
Layla!
Someone's... The deadbolt trembles. The knob turns a degree and then a degree more, the way it would if handled by someone who expects it to open someday out of habit alone. Nadia reaches for the baseball bat she keeps behind the umbrella stand. The knob stops. Footsteps away, 2, 3, then the soft hiss of the stairwell door, sighing, as if someone is careful not to let it bang. She flips her camera feed and rewinds. The face is never there, only a shoulder and profile cut off by the frame. A hint of thick jacket seam and a capped brim. The next day in the laundry room, she yanks her clothes out of a dryer before the cycle ends because her skin is buzzing with the mania of finish and go. In the reflection of the washer door glass, the hallway behind her is a warped tunnel like a funhouse, and at the far end, a figure stops and turns like a needle finding a groove. The reflection confuses the angle. When she turns, the hallway is empty. That evening in the hallway, on Nadia's door, a strip of masking tape remains perfect and uncurled. On the opposite door, something new, a hair short, black laid across the jamb, too deliberate, too straight, like a trap set by someone who understands traps. She takes a photo, steps back into her apartment, locks the deadbolts, and then, after a beat, wedges a chair under the knob because that's what television taught her. She moves one last box and finds, wedged behind it, a folded utility bill with her name and a red pen circle around the due date and a scribbled note. Goodbye, neighbor. She doesn't remember ever sharing a mailbox. At night, she decides to take out the trash because rituals keep the mind from inventing things unbearable to imagine. The stairwell is cooler than the hall and smells of concrete dust and old rain. Half a flight down, she stops because she hears breath that isn't hers, thin and sudden, like it belongs to someone who didn't expect to be heard. She steps backward, one at a time, heels finding the edges of steps she has memorized through repetition. The breath stops too, as if it has decided to become the building again. Late that night in her apartment, she leaves a note for herself on the inside of the door. Don't open for voices. Her phone buzzes with a new alert from the hall camera. Motion detected. 2:19 a.m. She plays it. The opposite peephole. Black and featureless. Grows slightly darker for a second, like a pupil dilating, then returns to matte. Nadia doesn't sleep. Dawn leaks in like gray milk through the curtains. In the morning, she checks the tape at her door untouched. She checks the hair across the opposite jamb gone. On the floor by her mat is a key tag, stamped with the building address and the word master ground down until it reads Astor, like someone tried to make it ordinary and failed. She knows what to do. Photograph, email management, insist on a lock change and copies of logs, replace the cylinder with one she purchases and hands to no one. She stands there a moment longer than she needs to, listening to the walls breathe, because sometimes the only honest ending is the one where the threat doesn't need to show itself again to be real. She slides the deadbolt, the satisfying shove of metal into place, a small act of architecture she controls. The door closes on the sound of voices outside, neighbors, mundane sounds that don't cancel the other ones, only cover them. Cold pre-dawn air cuts through the foothill trailhead, filled with sagebrush and dust. A chain-link gate yawns open where a ranger padlock hangs like a warning. Danny Ortega, 41, a volunteer search and rescue tech with a scraped knuckle and a headlamp, slings a small pack and checks his radio. Dispatch crackles. We have a late ping from the missing party's phone. Canyon wash east of mile 3. Last seen sunset yesterday. Proceed with caution. Terrain unstable from last week's storm. Danny replies, Copy. On foot. Solo until Team 2 stands up at 600. He steps onto the trail. The world still blue and thin, the horizon barely considering pink. He moves with economy, hydrate, breathe, check footing because speed amplifies error. An error here means a broken ankle and a long wait in the cold. The ping location on his phone jumps once, then settles. A green dot pressed against a contour line like a fly on glass, cutting off the main path. He follows a scarred social trail marked with bike tracks and deer prints, the kind people make with misplaced optimism. A cairn 3-stacked stones sits at a fork where no official marker exists. He notes it for return and veers left toward a narrowing wash. The sand accepts his weight and records his passage. Canyon walls closing in, his headlamp bouncing light back at him. He listens. Wind. A distant freight train. Gravel shifting under something that isn't him. Hey, he calls softly. Sar, if you can hear me, call out. Only silence. Then a faint scrape like a shoe sliding on rock ahead. Moments later, his headlamp finds a black knit glove snagged on a brittle branch. He bags it, marks a waypoint, radios it in. Dispatch logs it. Team 2. 45 minutes out. The wash deepens, walls carved by runoff. Storm damage chews at the banks, shelves waiting to collapse. Then another cairn, newer stones, damp sand, still clinging from someone's fingers. It sits in the middle of the path, not at a junction, like a trick. Danny steps around it, resisting the urge to kick it apart. His radio whispers a strange new voice. Copy waypoint. Proceed. Watch your footing. He freezes. The frequency is correct. Dispatch, confirm last. Real dispatch answers. Clipped. Negative. Last transmission from us was Team ETA. Danny powers his radio off, counts to 5, powers it back. Someone is stepping on their channel. Ahead, a phone vibrates, a domestic sound, absurd in the canyon. Hello? Call out. Danny kneels, shifts rock, finds it. A cracked smartphone still warm. He pockets it, glimpsing the lock screen photo, 2 sisters laughing at a picnic. Behind him, gravel crunches. Fresh prints overlay his own back trail, smaller, worn tread. Someone is using his steps to cover their passage. I'm not alone, he says steadily. Team 2 is close. Please announce yourself. Silence answers. He presses forward, because backward is no safer. The wash tightens to a narrow slot. Sky ribbon overhead fades of stars. He tests each step carefully. His headlamp catches a third cairn balanced atop a dead branch, staged. Theatrical. The radio hisses again. Take the right shelf. Left edge is rotten, but there is no shelf. Danny mutters, not today. An edge is left anyway. His lamp reveals a pit masked in shadow. He marks it with an orange survey flag. Anger flickers. Whoever's on the channel wants him off balance. The ground gives politely under his weight. He steps back, chest tight, then finds a safer line. His shin scrapes stone, the canyon reminding him who rules. At dawn, the wash opens wider. Scrub returns, birdsong braids into air, normalcy pressing in. But ahead, another cairn crowns a rise, topped with mirrored glass. His headlamp spits his face back in fractured pieces. Footsteps behind, more confident now. He shuts off his lamp. You found me, he calls calmly. If you need help, say it, or I will treat you as a threat. The footsteps halt. Silence again. He blows 2 sharp bursts on his whistle. The echo ricochets back altered, as if the canyon itself rewrote the sound. His pocket buzzes, find my device. Device moved. The recovered phone stirs in airplane mode, or something linked to it. He waits, knowing patience is both trap and tool. The follower doesn't pass. They want him to move first. Fine. Danny kicks the cairn. Stones tumble. The mirror shatters, his reflection fragmenting. Behind him, the faintest flinch, a surprised exhale. He scans. There, a culvert hidden by reeds. A false path, 2 feet deep, enough to wrench a knee. He marks it, moves on. Not fast, but controlled. Dispatch finally calls. Team 2 on scene at trailhead. Sound whistle if visual contact possible. Danny. I'm in the wash east of mile 3. Possible hostile shadowing. I'll approach the ridge. He climbs the ridge. Gravel to dirt. Dirt to crust. The slope feels like a throat clearing. Cresting. He sees the road. SAR trucks wait with hazard lights flashing like lighthouses. He doesn't look back. Looking back hands power to what follows. At the trucks, he drops his pack, hands off the recovered phone. You okay? Asks the team lead. Yeah. Someone tried to step on our channel. Someone built us a path. You didn't take it. Not today. Danny checks his own truck. Driver's door fine. Passenger's door fine. But the spare key magnet under the bumper gone. He closes his fist around emptiness, feeling the shape of the missing key. The sun lifts above the ridge, the wash behind him looking ordinary, which is the strangest part. He logs the time, the place,